All right, so here we have a 2000 Ford F450 diesel with a 7.3 turbo diesel. The issue that we had with this truck was a crank but no start. We had a bit of an issue with the starter. Went in there, tightened the cables a little bit. Noticed that some of the connectors were loose. So we also ended up replacing both batteries on this vehicle. Two brand new batteries. Went to the local AutoZone and had both batteries tested. Turns out the batteries were bad. Now, one of the main problems or reasons why this vehicle would crank over and not start sometimes is what happens is this oil pressure sensor here tends to go bad. Sometimes one of the ways you can test if it's the sensor here, you go ahead and disconnect it, and this tells the computer that there's oil pressure in here. Go ahead and you know it will allow the vehicle to crank over. But if you disconnect it, if it's faulty, of course it's not going to give you a pressure. But if you disconnect it, it'll throw the computer into like a bypass mode, and it'll give you a reading of 500 psi, and will allow the truck to crank over, and it'll start up. But that's how you know if this sensor is the culprit. Fortunately for us, we had one of our other sensors go bad, which is this one right here, just under my finger. It's the oil pressure sending unit. Actually, this is let's see. This is the part number for it. We got it at AutoZone. It's a regulator, oil pressure regulator. Fortunately, this was the one that went bad on us. So the way this works, my little helper.
Oh, I could just...
Come on, muchacho.
Okay.
So the way this works is this sensor, light it over here, it's at the very bottom of this unit here. This is an oil reservoir, and this sensor sits at the very bottom coming in this way. So when you remove that sensor, you're going to have some oil that's going to run out. Actually, what I did is I put paper towels under it, and went as far as purchasing. This is a 29 key. Also got it at AutoZone. It's long enough so the stem would fit inside. If you use a regular socket, from what I've tried, it kind of sits further out and won't let it rest all the way in. And so this one will sit right in there. It'll grab it just right, so you'll be able to pull this one out. So the way this works is when you start getting oil pressure buildup in here, this little unit here will magnetize, sits on there like this. You got this little metal piece, and of course you got your little washer that sits, your little nut rather should I say, that sits on here like this. Well, when this magnetizes, there's a pin in here that'll slide back, and it'll allow the vehicle to start over, crank up, and run. Fortunately for us, what I did is I took my little tester, and I thought it was the unit, the magnet piece itself that went bad. So what I did is I actually used a little tester and put positive to negative, and it had a screw inside. I just put any bolt inside that would magnetize. So I put it in there, jumped it, and when I tipped it over, the bolt stayed inside, and when I cut the current, the bolt dropped. So I know this unit was good. So then what I went ahead and did is I bought the entire unit at AutoZone, went ahead and replaced it. And then, so this regulator, this unit here was the one that actually went bad. I guess from the inside it got stuck. So apparently this unit here is spring loaded from the inside, and when it magnetizes, it'll take that little rod and slide it right back. So it'll allow the oil to flow. So you guys got the part number for it. Again, it's a 29. What you have to do is, in order for you to get the socket in there, when you're trying to put it in, right over here, you have to kind of go in like this and then slide over the stem, if you would call it. Put the back end first and then slide it forward, and then you would have to turn it this way, or clockwise if you would, because you're threading it backwards, of course. Went ahead and did that, and vehicle cranked over, and apparently it started right back up. We lost a little bit of oil from the reservoir here, so we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit more in because it has a rough idle because we lost that much oil. So yeah, guys, that's the way we do it. Let's see the part itself. Let me see. It was, I'm trying to get you an actual price here. Core $152 for the part itself, and I mean it's a bit of a hit or miss, but you know, luckily for us, that was the issue. Unfortunately, it's back down there, but you know, we got the truck up and running without a problem. Again, this is a 2000 Ford F450 diesel, 7.3 liter engine, and it's a crank but no start. Any questions, feel free to leave comments in the comment section, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Thank you. Have a blessed day.